Good morning, viewers. He looks very angry. What's going on, man? Ooh, went to the streamies. How was it? Weird. Was it fun at least? That's cool. Not that GL didn't win, but that it was fun. Right on, right on. That's cool. Uh, oh, what? That sucks. Well, at least it was fun. Free booze and made fun of people. Sounds like a good time. So are you back in town for a little while? Like, do you have time this week for a little beer trip? Cool. Nice. When's the last time you got to take off that much time around the holidays? Grade school. Yeah, for anybody who's watching who is not in the entertainment industry, that's this is what it's like. When's the last time you had a vacation? I don't remember. I don't. You know, the thing is, like, it's supposed to be a bat, and somehow it never occurred to me until I was drawing it that it was like, yeah, it's pretty much a Batman symbol. Like, I guess the major difference is like if you look at the figure, like it actually wraps, like, I don't know if you can even see this, but it basically, oh, light it up. Anyway, it's like the pattern starts on his chest and it works its way up all the way around to his back. So maybe that's the difference. But yeah, essentially it's a bat. Batman ruined it for everybody. You can't have a bat on your chest anymore without looking like a Batman ripoff. I think I'll have a bat on my chest. Oh, okay. Nice work, Batman ripoff. I sure don't. Is it good? Cool, I'll have to check that out. Upside down creature person. That's funny. Yeah, I'll have to check that out. feel like I heard somebody talking about it the other day at the office. And like I couldn't immediately place what they were talking about, but yeah, that's ringing a bell. Oh, so some big news coming out for Rooster Teeth, right? I feel like I just read an article like a couple days ago about uh, like the new heads of the studio being voted in or something, or appointed rather. Nice. How's Joe feeling about that? Pretty confident? I actually didn't even realize until I saw a bit of his bio posted in an article. I didn't realize his background was that extensive in animation. I don't know how I missed that, but it's awesome. Good for him. Of course, I never actually worked with him too much, so. That's great. That's awesome. Yeah, we'll do. Take it easy, man. Hey, Mark, how's it going, dude? Yeah, I don't typically do morning streams, but I had some time today, some time to kill, which doesn't happen very often, so figured, hey, why not? Yeah, something I've been doing lately is like I more or less just kind of lay in a bunch of flat color, some a little bit more detail kind of found its way in here sporadically, but anyway, yeah, I mean, I basically just lay out the flat colors using this handy little Skeletor rough, and then I went in and started making some adjustments here and there, like I don't want there to be too much separation in just these base colors because I want to have some room to kind of push it and pull it with shadow and light and everything, and I don't want to start off with a base layer where it's the colors are so like the skin and the skull, like if that's way too bright compared to like the hood and everything else, like I want to kind of compress the values just a little bit, and then I can kind of push them as I need to. So anyways, do that, and then right now what I'm doing is just kind of laying in with just simple airbrush, nothing too fancy, just like the major like the shadows, like the major volumes, and then I'm going in and kind of erasing out of those. So you can see this area up here around the top of the skull. What's going on here? Oh, out of selection. Yeah, so it's just like laying in, just some gradients for shadow, and then going in and kind of cutting it out selectively just to make it nice and sharp. And I'm just doing black for the shadows right now. Excuse me. Because like I want to, well, two things. One, it's like, okay, just keep it simple. I'm just trying to define forms, but then also I can go in with this layer afterwards and I can start saying like, okay, well, I want the shadows to have a certain temperature to them. So they could be cooler, they could be warmer, probably warmer. And then I can just apply a color to it, and the shadows are already where I wanted them. I mean, I could do that right off the bat, but in my head right now, I'm not entirely clear what I want the temperature set up to be yet. Because I keep on thinking like, well, I could do like a warm kind of shadow undertone, and then maybe cool off the key light on him, or it could also be neat if the key light was warmer. Maybe it's inferring that there's some type of mystical firelight or something. I don't know. So just for right now, so I can stay busy and stay productive, it's like, okay, well, I already know value wise what I want my lighting to look like, how I want it to feel. So I'll just knock that in, and then I can always go back in later on and start adjusting the hues of my light sources or my shadows. So I can just come in here and start carving. I'm really trying not to go too crazy with my color job because there's already so much detail in the line work, and something I feel like a pitfall I get in often is doing my usual, tons of line work thing, and then also going in and spending forever on like in the lighting and everything. It's like I'm sitting here carving out little zones and just trying to get all these nice little separations, and in the end it's like I have to wonder if maybe it just makes things feel a little too busy. Also, the other thing too is like I've been trying to simplify my approach in general, because it's like people ask me, you know, like people want to see the coloring process, and it tends to be very organic for me. Like I have a couple of basic principles or tricks that I use, and then outside of that, like I kind of just go with the flow of whatever feels needed in the time. But I think what often happens is I end up sort of reinventing the wheel without even realizing it, and it's like I want to try to get faster and faster at this. So I'm trying to find ways of just standardizing my process to just a couple of super easy to follow steps that you could do regardless of the kind of piece it is. What the lighting setup is, or whatever. So we'll see. But yeah, I mean, I have a couple of steps that I follow all the time, but the order in which I do them, and sometimes it's a little different, and I'll tweak things. And my process was always getting better. That would be one thing, but sometimes I just get caught up in just doing just kind of willy nilly, just kind of attacking it, and I have to wonder if that lack of don't know what's a good way of putting it. Not working as efficiently. Like if that's a time waster at some point. So. Yeah, I'll add that later because I don't want that to be like that's not going to be the dominant light source in here. At least that's not really what I have in mind. But yeah, after Actually, I'm just about done with this. After I'm done just kind of laying in some, like the basic forms, the basic volumes, excuse me. The next thing I'll do is I'll start mocking in like how this magic is going to sit in here. Like I have a vague idea in my head of how I want it to feel in the composition. And you'll get a little bit of a glow from that on him, but the main light source will be a little higher up. But the cool thing is I mean, the way that I'm doing this, you know, you could always go in there and decide later on that it's like, okay, well, you know, I want to have a key light coming from up here. But I want this to be the primary light caster. And then so you could just go in there with some layers and then kind of darken down everything else and then come in and then start laying out some highlights that are all kind of coming from this. So I try to keep it as option friendly as possible. So I try to keep all this stuff on different layers so I can kind of go back in and change things up if I need to or what have you. That's one of the reasons why I'm not such a great digital painter, is because like with something like this, like everything is so separated into steps that it's easy to go back to, you know, the individual steps and make adjustments if you need to. Whereas I feel like in a painting where everything is just kind of working on top of itself, like it can get really muddy in my experience anyway, when you're making when you're changing your mind a lot. Yeah, I tend to be really bad about that. Like I'll start an image and have one idea in mind, and then I'll want to try a couple things, and then sometimes it gets messy. So at least when I do things this way, you know, I could always go back in. Hey, thanks for the follow, Duwuda. Yeah, like I can always go back in and I can just make adjustments. Like, so earlier in the stream, I was like, well, you know, now that I'm laying out some shadow values in here, like maybe I should have done more in the inks in a couple of these places. Maybe I could have, you know, kept the inks looking a little more solid. And so I just went back to that layer and I started kind of playing around with that. And then I kind of went back and forth between that and the value layers. So I just like having that flexibility. But yeah, to answer your question, there should be some type of magic coming from his hand. Actually, we can start laying that in right now, actually. Let's see. Actually, I'm going to do a search really quick and see if I can find... Like, I keep on thinking about that scene from the Masters of the Universe movie. Let me see if I can find that. Let's see. The Universe movie. What was he called? It was like Ultra Skeletor or something. Like, what is it called when he becomes super powerful at the end? God Skeletor? Yeah, yeah.
She...
No, I just want images. Well, he's got the electrical stuff. I want to find an image of, like, when he first gets the power, he's like looking at his hand and like all this energy's coming off of it. Ooh, this would be a cool background element. Is getting the getting maybe like some runes or something, and then the circular lights. Oh, here we go. Oh, okay. So it was just okay. Add this to our ref pile. Ooh, that looks pretty cool. Ooh, that'd be interesting to do. Oh, thanks for that link, dude. Check that out. Oh, okay, yeah, that's what I was remembering. Okay, so the power basically flies in, and then it just sort of absorbs into him. Okay, sweet. Actually, this will look cool. It's kind of like this force lightning looking stuff. Oh, okay. So I just got the best screen grab ever. Check this out. The snipping tool is moving. Shut up. Dude, yeah. That's kind of sweet. No. Yeah. That's what we're going to do. And actually, I love this, how like we might be able to boost the saturation of this a lot and then get that nice sort of warm cool thing going. Like this kind of fiery golden light or something with like maybe some blue purple. That could be cool. See, it's hard for me to completely hate this movie because the production design was so awesome when it wasn't just in stupid like cities and alleys and stuff. Like this stuff is all, this is awesome. More of this, please. Okay. Let's see if we can figure something out here. Pop this. Color references. I might go grab some some cool lightning photos or something. Maybe pull some of that in here. This is just going to be like quick and dirty, just to get an idea of what we could do with this. Go clean it up later. It's like crackling from his fingertips. Or something. Sorry, I make sound effects when I draw. My parents used to make fun of me for this when I was a kid. It was like, it helps. It helps imagine it. Or something. Oh, it's starting to be a bit much. Let's try something else. So what I wanted initially was something to be like in here. And like it's sort of coursing off the... And then if it seems like something like this will work, then I'll just go back and do like a more comic-y version of it. Give it a little bit more energy. But I'll use this as a guide. Initially, I had an idea that it could be a little more kind of X-Men power like or something. Yeah, something like this that was a little more energetic. It's like he's getting his Magneto on or something. that is kind of neat, though. Just gets a little busy. Plus, it starts to almost look like somebody set his hand on fire. He looks like he's being all hardcore, but really he's like, ah, ah, ah. Although I feel like tonally that would be in keeping with cartoon Skeletor, right? Like just nothing ever working out for him. I'll get you, He-Man. With this fire coming off my... Ah! Can maybe even go in there and thinking like maybe we just take that hand. Actually, that was my original idea, anyways. Like taking the hand and then kind of glowing it out up here. It's kind of glowing to almost like a dim white or something, and then maybe that's what the energy's coming off of. Could do that. I don't know, maybe just keep it simple. Just do like some energy kind of crackling off. Ooh, and then can maybe take this. Something like that. So it's like both of his hands, he's got power coming off. Ooh, that could be neat. What? Thanks, Photoshop. Minus. And then this stuff, we can have this stuff kind of coursing off and kind of, you know, flicking off into the... You have like almost like these embers or something. I don't know. Something like that. We'll just call it force lightning. It is what it is. It's force lightning. I was watching, I was doing something, and I had Star Wars Return of the Jedi going on in the background, and my 3.5-year-old like comes walking through. He's like, da, 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 turns around and he sees it, and it's that scene where Luke's getting fried. And he just sort of stops and he looks, and then he looks over at me and he's just like, what is he doing? He's crackling. Crackling. I was like, yeah, he's crackling all right. Luke's getting crackled. He's crackling. It's awesome. What is going on? Well, you see, son, it's this thing called getting owned. it's making contact with his body and just sort of rolling off. It's starting to feel suitably arcane. Level up, noob. Hey, Mark, you said you were moving, where you're getting ready to move. Is that something that already happened, or is that next week? Next week, this week, whatever. Right on. Oh, nice. Yeah, good luck with that, man. Cool. All right. So we'll do something like this. Cast a little bit of light up onto his chest. Cool. Yeah. This'll work. Actually, I think what I'm going to do is, so like I've mentioned a few times, like I've already got this light sort of spilling across his face and, across his upper half. I might have that light fade off a lot more aggressively, so that more of his lower torso is starting to fall into shadow, and then that'll allow all of this force lightning or whatever to start to illuminate him and get a little bit more of that warmth. That could be cool. Try that. Why not? Maybe a little more like that, and then gives us a bit more room to play with regards to pulling in some warm lighting down here. Yeah, I think that could be cool. I don't know. Input from the audience. Sweet. All right, we'll do it. Yeah. Let's see. So this is the way I had it before. It just seemed way too... It felt a bit much. I don't know. I guess I could leave it the way it was. Wondering how imposing this light source needs to be. Maybe just do something a little more. Hey. I mean, it shouldn't look too smooth. Um, no, it shouldn't. Like, I don't want it to look like a clean skull. I mean, I definitely want it to feel a little more, um, like a little rougher. But we can certainly play around with that. I mean, it's like I said. I mean, it's all on layers, and I mean, we've got a little while to go on this thing yet, so we can always go back in there and see what we can do. For sure. Oh, that's what we're doing. There we go, just a little bit. I'm doing well. How are you? What happened to my music? That's funny. Yummy breakfast food. That sounds awesome. Anybody have cool plans today? I am gonna finish Christmas shopping for family back home today, which means I'm gonna be Amazoning my ass off. And then I think later today, take my son to see some Christmas lights. I think that's about it. Oh, yeah, get mentally prepared for work this week. That'll be one. Um, Zilker Park is actually really nice. They do like a Trail of Lights every year. Um, he likes doing that. Plus, they've got like hot chocolate vendors, if I remember correctly. Even though this weekend is unseasonably warm, so you probably don't need it. Oops. Yeah. Actually, I need to figure out a way of getting that called out on the stream. But yeah, all the music that I've been playing is all David Levy from Rooster Teeth. Super, super talented guy. Got like hordes of his music in here. I should go load up his channel one of these streams. It's like SoundCloud or something. Yeah, he's got some awesome, awesome stuff. Just like some great ambient tunes. Yeah, I mean it's fantastic. He reached out to me and was like, "Hey, you want me to give you some music you can use?" This is when I was starting my Patreon stuff, and I was like, "Yeah, sure, man. And if you're gonna do that, I'll just give you a shout out." So like at the end of my videos when I use his stuff, I just let everybody know like, "Hey, this is his." In fact, I'm working on doing like a closing credits for my streams, and I think that's probably going to be a good place to do that. Is just be like, hey, music provided by whoever. Like even if it's music from somewhere else or whatever it is. Definitely need to do that. Oh, thank you. Yeah, I threw that together yesterday. I was looking at overlays that you can buy that are super cool. They're animated and everything, and that's ultimately where I want to go. I have a designer working on some elements for me, but for now, it's like I want to have something there, and if it's just going to be something static, I mean, I can do that myself. So I threw this together yesterday. I don't know. I'll live with it for a few streams. I'm almost wondering if the social media shout outs on the bottom are a little overkill because it's like literally everywhere I would want to point someone. So I don't know. Maybe it's getting a little crowded, but there's a part of me that thinks it's actually kind of cool to have more elements on screen doing things because it just makes it a little more interesting. Like especially if I'm a viewer and I'm just watching it forever. Because there's not always going to be super interesting stuff going on. So just having something else to kind of fill out the, flesh out the screen real estate, make it feel a little more dynamic, maybe. I don't know. I'm willing to take feedback on that. Yeah, I'm sort of like piece by piece getting everything assembled. So I've got like a little somewhat minimal overlay. I've got some super basic like alert animations in there. I'd like to do something that's like ultimately I would like everything to be stylistically harmonious. Like everything just looks like it's all designed together. Whereas right now it's feeling a little piecemeal, but that's okay. We'll get there. Yeah, start one. I don't know if it's like the way that Twitch does its searching or browsing or whatever, but it's really really difficult for me to just sit down and find a bunch of great art streams. Like you can find art streams, but it's like there's no way to make your search criteria any more specific than that. It's literally just like look for art. And so then it's like you just like over the course of weeks you just have to, plug through all of them and just be like, yeah, oh, okay, I'll follow this one, maybe not this one. Actually, I find I have better luck just waiting for Twitch to suggest art streams to me, because like just doing searches, I find very little, but like every couple of days I'll log on to Twitch and it'll be like, hey, here's a channel you might like, and I'm going, hey, follow that one, follow that one, follow that one. So it's starting to pick up. I'm starting to find more people, which is awesome. So yeah, more the merrier. Well, I think honestly, I just think it's by virtue of like Twitch is more game focused. And so like if you don't have a specific game that you're playing or what have you, it just all falls underneath art, which could be any number of things. So, like if you just search for art as a category, you get people doing, paintings, comic book stuff. I think I've seen somebody doing some 3D. I mean, it's kind of all over the place. So it's not really, I get the impression anyway that it's not really built for that as much. But I mean, I don't know. I mean, give them time. Like art is a big thing on Twitch now, so I'm sure there's ways that could be improved. Okay. Let's see, next steps. Next steps. I want to figure out something cool to do with that background. Keep on thinking about those refs that we just were looking at. Like with the cool archway behind them and like the rock walls and the ruins and stuff. Something like that could be neat. Wonder how hard it would be, speaking of 3D printing, to do like your own action figure line. You're Mark, you remember the Four Horsemen? Like, they're the ones who have like an original line they do right now, right? It's kind of like, God, I can't remember for the life of me what it's called, but it's like they've got the, it's like it's all these different pieces and parts, and you can make your own. Or it's like you buy the characters, but they all come apart into the like the heads and the torsos, and then you can sort of reassemble them in different ways with the pieces from other characters, and then make your own or something like that. God, what is it called? They're like it's like some type of like sword and sorcery. Oh yeah, that's it. Mythic Legions. Yeah, yeah. So like they don't have a cartoon or anything associated with that. Like that's just their thing they came up with, and now they're selling it. Like I keep on finding all of these like toy companies you've never heard of that basically only do one thing. And granted, it's usually for collectors and it's more expensive. But I'm wondering like how hard that would be to do. Like if you came up with your own line of interesting characters or creatures or something and you wanted to do a line. I should look into that. That'd be kind of neat. I feel like there's some concept artists who do something similar, but they just do these statues. And I mean, the price point is so steep. And sometimes it's just busts. But it would be cool to do like an actual line, like create an IP and it's just, all these creatures and stuff. A prototype of figures that were made on a printer. Oh, sweet. How long ago was that? Or is that a recent thing? Oh, sweet. Here, let's pull this up so we can look at it. Plunderlings. A little bit goblin, a little bit pirate, united with infectious charm. Oh, cool. Oh, that's fun. I kind of want to draw this dude. That looks fun. Oh, that's cool too. Oh, I'm sensing a cartoon. A month or two ago. Nice. Dude, these are fun, man. Like, do you know these people, or did you just stumble upon this? Man, there's this whole series of these. This one's fun. Oh, I like that. Little sharp teeth up in the eye. Over easy. So I was talking about this the other day, but oh man, between Kickstarter and Indiegogo, I've been spending so much money. Like, there's way too many people doing really cool stuff. Like, whether it's books or toys or whatever. Really, really cool stuff. Ooh, that's a cool idea. I'll have to make a note of that. Yeah, I'll have to go dig around and check that out. Yeah, one of the reasons why that idea comes to me is I was going through a bunch of like I've got like this metal Foot Locker that's got a bunch of old action figures and Spawn stuff, tons of McFarlane stuff, and like I totally forgot that he used to do those lines where like there was no comics or anything associated with it. It was just like monsters or just freak characters or whatever. And there was just these, I mean, twisted ideas, but there was some really, really cool stuff in there. And I seem to remember them selling really well. And I guess I'm just wondering if anybody does stuff like that anymore. But I think it's all in the collector realm. Like, this isn't stuff you'd see in the stores anymore. No, I'm gonna be here for the holidays. How about y'all? You staying in town or got family stuff? Ah, you got parents crashing. Ooh, cool. Looks like a Mega Man character. That's fun. Man, now I want to make some toys. It's fun. Yeah, I'm getting this really weird, like, collector urge again. Like, I was going through... Well, I was mentioning it. I was going through some old figures, and I found a bunch of them still in their boxes, and I'm like... My son's looking at everything. It's funny, because he's like, oh, you going to open these? We should open them. And I'm like, no, we don't open these. Well, but why? Because collectors are weird. If only you knew somebody that was good at conceptualizing ideas. Exactly, Mark. Exactly. I know of no one. No, it's just the building it all out and getting things printed and jerk. No, but yeah, like I'm feeling this really weird pull to get online and like start searching around for like to complete collections that I never got to finish back in the day. It's dangerous. I'm trying to resist. Yeah, my son just gave me like the weirdest attitude when I told him. I was like, "No, you don't open these. No. Why?" Uh, well, because sometimes people like to just have them. He just looked at me like, "You're an idiot." Yeah, I would love to be able to go through the process myself. I think that'd be really fun. I know some guys at work who do 3D prints. I mean, not anything too complex like what we're talking about, like figures or anything. It's more just little desk, you know, I don't know, like maybe like GI Joe size stuff. Really simple models, but it looks really cool. And they always seem like they've got an absolute blast doing it, or they have an absolute blast. Like, yeah, I kind of want to get in there and experience that. Like, I'm sure, like, once you did it a few times, then afterwards, you'd be like, okay, I can pay to have somebody else print this. But, yeah, just to start, I think it'd be fun to go through the process and actually get to experience what it's like to make one from the ground up. It's 12 o'clock. All right. I think I'm going to cut this one short and grab some food. And should be back. What, tomorrow's Monday? Should be back Tuesday. So yeah, Tuesday, Thursday this week for sure. And then anything outside of that, I need to figure out a better way of communicating to people. Like if I just sort of spur of the moment get on. I've been just tweeting it, but I don't know. There's gotta be something better. I don't know. I'll figure it out. But oh, thank you. Um, but yeah, I think this is going in a pretty good direction. If you guys happen to have any suggestions for things we should add or change or whatever, next time I'm on, let me know. We can work through this stuff together, which is like I would love for this to be a little more than me just sitting here drawing and it be really one sided. Like this is why I like to ask for feedback. I've got y'all here, y'all are interested. If there's anything that's looking weird on your end, or if you have any cool ideas, stuff we can put in here, let me know. We'll do it. Let's make this a community thing. Let's do it together. So, but yeah, I had fun. Thanks for dropping in and sticking around for a while and chatting it up. These are an absolute blast. I love doing them. So, um, yeah, we will. Thank you. Thank you. Patreon insert. Yeah, double check my main page. I've got a panel that links to my Patreon. If you want to see stuff that's a little more sort of not personalized, but a little more customized to what it is that people are wanting to see, and if you want to get access to some video content as well as some tutorial stuff as well, feel free to drop by my Patreon and check that out. It's like I do work here. I do work on the Patreon. The work on Patreon tends to take a little bit longer than I originally intended, just because there's some video production that I'm doing with that. But either way, both venues produce some cool stuff. So yeah, feel free to come back and check out the Twitch, or to go check out the Patreon. So yeah, well, thank you, and I will see you all next time. Bye bye.